Welcome back to another edition of E-Weekly, your home for campus news. This week we have more on the budget deficit, opportunities for programs on campus, and students on campus as well. Jane Shorts has the dish, Gabrielle Reed has Eagle Encounters, and we have you in mind. This is E-Weekly.
And thank you for tuning in to E-Weekly. I'm Nina Maria Badalamenti, and I appreciate you choosing us as your home for Ypsilanti News.
I'm Sarah Podaraki, and we have another fine show lined up for you all. We had a great show last week, but due to technical difficulties, we were unable to air the episode.
And it definitely was a good episode. Fingers crossed that today gets seen. Speaking of equipment failure due to low funds, what's up with the new budget, or with the budget deficit, Sarah?
Well, Nina, after receiving news of the budget deficit a few weeks back, students have been asking a lot of questions. Patrick Campion for 89.1 WEMU News sat down with EMU's president, Dr. James Smith, and discussed possible changes coming to EMU. Dr. Smith said that despite Eastern getting a larger freshman class, we did not get the credit hours to go with them. This meant less tuition being paid to the school and accounts for some of that $4.5 to $5.5 million deficit. The goal is currently to get within $900,000 of the budget, starting with eliminating open positions. When asked how to get everyone moving in the same direction, considering the distrust towards the administration's efforts, President Smith said he could only do what he's been doing for the past 17 months, be visible and answer questions. Campion and President Smith went on to speak about other subjects such as international recruiting, sports, and more broad goals in terms of the future. There is still work to be done, but EMU is moving forward as a university.
The grants continue for Eastern as their graphic design program was awarded $31,550 to rebrand Ypsilanti's Riverside Art Center. This national design grant, called the Ideas That Matter Grant, awards 10 teams of designers and nonprofits that's goals are to make positive change in society. The grant is provided by a global company called SAPI to promote unity and inspire action in our world. Professor Leslie Atzman and Ryan Moley and the students of 2 intermediate graphic design classes were presented the award at the 2017 Design Conference. This design team is planning to recreate Riverside's logo as well as construct building signage and brochures. In addition, they are generating a creativity toolkit to endorse problem solving and education for local youth and their families. Riverside Art Center is located downtown Ypsilanti and supports dynamic arts and cultural community through arts education, performing arts, visual arts, and fine arts activities. EMU's graphic design team is hopeful that this collaboration will allow Riverside to grow and help expand what they can do for the community. The project is anticipated to complete later this semester.
Our inconsistent Michigan weather has been messing with us early this year, and the return of snow has created some dangerous road conditions. On Super Bowl Sunday, February 4th, paramedics responded to 21 crashes around Washtenaw County, starting at 6:30 a.m. During the morning commute, one accident led to westbound I-94 being temporarily closed, forcing westbound traffic to get off at the Willow Run exit. In another case, a woman was forced to swerve in order to avoid a ladder in the road on Sunday night, resulting in a T-bone accident with another vehicle. The driver of the original vehicle was extricated from hers by Ypsilanti and Ypsilanti Township firefighters and was transported to the hospital in critical condition. In total, that weekend, 6 people were transported to local hospitals. Talk about inconsistent. After our snowmageddon last weekend, we might be looking at temperatures in the 50s this weekend.
EMU School Social Work has collaborated with Ypsilanti Community Schools to create a mentoring program for kids in grades K through 12. The Making Your Youth Matter mentoring program's goal is to counteract the school-to-prison pipeline. This is an occurrence that pushes young students facing struggles in school toward a future of criminal activity and imprisonment. The program is in its 3rd year and has allowed EMU students to provide over 10,000 hours of service to Ypsilanti youth. This year, there are 13 undergraduate students and 3 graduate students serving in the program as part of their internship. Previous to participating, they receive a month of skills training. The graduate students work closely with the families and schools, while the undergraduate students work closely with middle school students, in which they spend at least 10 hours a week with. The program has provided support for over 75 elementary schools in Ypsilanti. The Making Your Youth Matter mentoring program has proved to be a great success and is a perfect example of how students can be proactive with their education.
After the break, we'll have more news for you. Stay tuned.
A typical day will start for the delivery staff because they are central to what we do. Our delivery staff gets here at about 9:30 in the morning. They get their route for the day. Then they prep their vehicle, they clean it out, make sure it's ready to go. They get their hot boxes all set and ready. Valley Food Services, who is our commissary for our food preparation, will come to Meals on Wheels between 9:45 and 10 a.m. They get here, we count out the meals, we temp them to make sure they're at the appropriate heat. Then they section them out and count and make sure we have the exact number of meals we need, and then they get the sides that go along with the hot entrees, and they have that bag and they put that in a cooler, and then they load that into their vehicle. Then they do their exit checkout, and then they're ready to go on their route. So typically they're out of here no later than 10:15, 10:30. Then they start their deliveries, and it takes them about 2 to 2.5 hours to make those deliveries. So for myself and our office staff, I typically get here about 8:30 to open the office. We check our messages. Then we also do some prep work for the routes. If there needs to be some logistical changes for routing, we try to do that. Typically I start by answering emails from volunteers and from our funders, and then my work kind of starts into doing some grant writing and who I have to go meet with today, if I have to meet with a funder or a partner program. And then Carrie does a lot more of the office work as well. So between our primary hours, Carrie will also probably do anywhere between 1 and 3 intake calls for clients who might need to get on our program. So she does that, and it takes roughly about an hour to do that over the phone with a client. She'll kind of help with all the paperwork that we have to file from a state level, sets up appointments for our nursing staff and nursing students to go out and do health assessments for the clients on a daily basis. And then she also just kind of maintains the facility to make sure the upkeep is going well.
My favorite band just put out a new CD. I was super excited. I've been waiting forever for it to come out. But I was having a little cash flow problem. I asked some of my friends if they had the new CD yet, and they said I could get it for free if I found a pirated copy online. Without hesitation, I went on my computer and I found a website that had a free pirated copy, and I clicked download. It was that simple. After downloading it, I went to my computer and I opened my music player to listen to it, but my computer had slowed down to almost a stop. All I ended up with was a virus. Not my band's album. I guess when you pirate anything, you run the risk of an infection. Not to mention if you get caught, there could be legal issues. It really does pay to pay. My name is Emma, and I'm trying to be e-safe.
Welcome back to eWeekly. With the bad weather and people getting sick all around, Sarah has a personal experience with campus resources she'd like to share.
University Health Services held walk-in flu clinics on Tuesday, February 6th and Tuesday, February 13th. From a personal perspective, I had the pleasure of stopping by to check it out and get my own shot in preparation for the remainder of the flu season. It was quick and, in my opinion, pretty painless. Students on the EMU Student Health Insurance Plan and those with Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage qualify to get the vaccine for free by presenting their insurance card. But never fear if you are uninsured. Students who qualify can receive their shot for free due to funding through the Alanis Foundation. This foundation, which is a nonprofit providing resources like vaccination opportunities, vaccine assistance grants, and community outreach for flu education and awareness, started in 2009 in memory of 5-year-old Alana Yaksik. Alana passed away from flu-related complications causing swelling and injury to her brain. Her family started the foundation with hopes that no family would have to experience the tragedy of losing someone they loved to a preventable disease.
On Thursday, February 1st, EMU held its 2018 Student Internship Fair in the Student Center. 59 businesses had booths at the event, including DTE Energy, Quicken Loans, and many more. There was even an app students were able to use in order to track what employers were there and to aid them in finding the ones they were most interested in. The fair also had a ready room that provided students an opportunity to speak to professionals that helped them practice introductions and elevator speeches. Students were able to and encouraged to take notes and present their resume to employers in the room. There was also a station for students to get a professional photo taken of them for their LinkedIn accounts, as well as a wardrobe check before they entered the room. AMU's next career fair will take place on March 7th in the Student Center Ballroom. You can find more information on the Handshake website or at the EMU Advising and Career Development Center. Still to come, Evan Hensley will be updating us on what's going on in Eagle sports. But for now, we'll throw it over to Jane Shorts for her dish. What's going on, Jane?
Not much, Nina. I'm excited to say that Black History Month is getting off to a productive start on campus with events hosted by several orgs, including Kings of Color, Project Big Sister, The Nation, and Style. And it's not over yet because the Eastern Michigan community still has events on the way that you don't want to miss. There's a bit of catching up to do before we can look forward. Last week, Kings of Color started these Black History festivities on February 1st with a Black mental health program in collaboration with student government to address and resolve issues regarding mental health in the Black community, especially targeting EMU Black students. The program featured a presentation by Eastern's own Dr. Stephen Jefferson and was followed by a peer-led discussion moderated by Kings of Color President Shaylor Barnes Jr. and Student Body Vice President Larry Borum. While this event was going on, Project Big Sister and The Nation hosted the Black Business Expo in the Student Center Ballroom. This event spent time focusing on Black businesses in Ypsilanti. They had guests like Cakes and Creations, Blink Twice Lash Company, Hang Time Hair Company, Glitter Glam Collections, and more. They had an amazing turnout and a lot of fun getting to know Black business owners around the area. Ypsilanti is such a tight-knit town, it's great to know and support local businesses. In this previous Monday, February 12th, Afro's the Chic Style Never Dies was put on by EMU's new fashion org, Style, as they paid tribute to our iconic ancestors and trendsetters from the 70s all the way until now. It was a stellar event and a good start to the org's bright future at EMU. Keep shining and moving forward. I'm Jaden Shorts, and that is all I have for you on this week's dish. Stay tuned for Eagle Sports with Evan Hensley after this.
Welcome to our first EMU Theater Inside the Actors Studio video of 2018. Yay! So today we are going to be talking about the Trojan Women, which is our first main stage show of this semester. And this show starts with the women of Troy after the Trojan War on the beach, and they're basically in ruins. So what is the most fun part about working with just a group of women who are so passionate about this?
I just love working with a group of women. It's a lot of fun, and you know, we get that nice bond going.
It's like a little family. We're all sisters, basically. It's nice.
Yeah, and you don't get to do it very often. There's not a lot of shows that just really highlight women and highlight strong, powerful women. Like, these are all women that just keep going no matter what, and being able to like relate with everybody on that level has been really great.
Jen is a movement specialist here at Eastern, and because of that and her movement-based background, are you guys doing any like cool movement techniques or incorporating any unique aspects of movement into the piece itself?
A lot of this text is very musical, and so the movement comes along very naturally, like dance, and she's been teaching us a lot of like basic things to help us reach that level of like poetry with our bodies and with the words.
What are you guys most excited about, like, when you get to put this show on stage?
I think that people think they know the story of Troy, but this is a different side of things, because we always know like what happens with the Trojan horse and everything, but we don't always know what happens next.
I'm excited for the set and the costumes. They're gonna look amazing.
In the world that we're living in now, in 2018, what do you think makes this centuries-old story so relevant to us and to who we are?
I find that we are in this new wave of empowering women right now, and I don't think that this story could have come at a better time, because it's very easy to relate to with all these like movements and women's marches and the Me Too movement, and I think we're just at a really incredible point in time for women. So it's interesting to see how women, even when they're at the lowest you can be, endure through anything you can throw at them, and I think it'll be a really nice reflection on that. And even though it's a sad show, people will leave feeling empowered.
You can break down, you know, people all you want to, but there's always going to be a way for us to overcome what's going on, and especially if we stick together.
You all can catch the Trojan Women opening right here at EMU Theater on February 2nd.
So I tried logging into my .emish account and it wouldn't let me in. So I went down to the help desk and they said I had already changed my password. No I didn't. Shortly after that, my apartment was broken into. Yeah, if you put two and two together, you know where they go, my address. They got my password, got onto my .emish account, and stole my class schedule and my home address. They knew when I wasn't gonna be home. I should have known that a password of ABCD1234 isn't too hard to guess. Now, I'm more careful about choosing a password. I take a word that's 8 to 10 letters long that isn't too personal to me, and I change some characters around. For example, the word college, C-O-L-L-E-G-E. I can change the L's to 7s and the E's to question marks. Don't use college, okay? You have passwords for a reason. Take the time to make one that is unique and easy for you to remember, yet hard for someone else to figure out. My name is Daniel, and I'm trying to be safe.
Welcome back. This is Eagle Sports, and I'm Evan Hensley. James Thompson made history over the weekend with a performance that shows just how elite he is in the EMU hardwood history. On Saturday, Thompson grabbed his 1,000th career rebound to become only the third Eagle ever to eclipse the 1,000 mark in both scoring and rebounding. He is in good company as he has joined the likes of Eastern greats Kennedy McIntosh and Brandon Bowdry. Unfortunately, the historic day did not help the Eagles as they fell to the Bowling Green Falcons 70-63 in overtime. Thompson, the double-double machine himself, dropped 10 points and 11 rebounds on the game while also collecting a pair of steals and a block. Elijah Minnie was the only other Eagle to get into double figures with his 17 points. Fortunately, the Eagles were able to hold off the Miami Redhawks in a tight 58-57 win. Elijah Minnie came out with 24 points and 1 rebound shy of a double-double. James Thompson also walked away with a solid game, grabbing 14 rebounds to go along with his 14 points. The Redhawks tried to spoil the night as they came back from 17 points down, but they could not seal the deal in the final seconds. Tim Bond came up with a huge steal, preventing Miami from getting off a final shot. The team will travel to Mount Pleasant to go to work against Central Michigan this Friday. The wrestling team did not have much luck either over the weekend when they traveled up to Mount Pleasant to take on Central Michigan. The Chips are ranked number 16th in the country and showed their dominance with a 29-7 victory, featuring only a pair of Eastern Michigan wins. Zach Carson and Noah Gonzer each gave the team a win by decision, but a stacked Central Michigan team that featured 7 wrestlers ranked was too much for the Eagles to overcome. While it looked to be a match of the day between heavyweights Matt Stencil, ranked number 18th nationally, and Gage Hutchinson of Eastern, who has ranked number 21st. Stencil was able to pin Hutch with just over a minute 30 on the clock to get the quick points. The squad will stay on the road this weekend when they travel to East Lansing to face off against Michigan State as well as Clarion. The gymnastics team's slow start to the season has continued as they've dropped all 3 of their in-conference performances. The team took home both the regular season and MAC tournament title last year, so the downward spiral has continued. The team fell to Northern Illinois on Friday with a score of 195.425 to 194.9. A couple of low scores on the bars really led to the loss in this one, where they only managed to get 48.6 on the day, the lowest of any of their event scores in this home matchup. On the floor, the Eagles were really able to make up some ground, lost with 48.875, the second highest score of the season in the event. The team will now host Illinois State on Thursday as they look to get back to their winning ways. A rough weekend for EMU athletics continued when the women's basketball team dropped their 5th straight game. The Eagles lost to Akron in the Convocation Center on Sunday. The Zips went home with a 77-65 win. A 29-point second quarter really made the difference on the day. For Akron, Shawnee Edmonds dropped 27 on a 10 of 17 shooting performance from the floor. Daniel Minot, who has been streaky in recent games, continued to struggle with her 9 points, while only going 2 for 11 from the floor. Courtney Lewis dropped 19 points as well as 6 boards, and Sasha Daly, back from her knee injury, joined her in double figures with 17 points. The team as a whole shot 37% from the field, which really helped the Zips get the important road win. The women's team will now look to end their losing streak at home tonight when they take on Ohio. That's been it for Eagle Sports, and we'll see you next week.
So I typically would describe Meals on Wheels in 3 words: support. What I mean by support is having somebody there every day you can count on, who's going to be there with a smile and a hot meal for you.
First, I would say that I would be with them if I could, delivering for the people.
Observant?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say, well, more than a meal. I guess that's 4, but close enough.
It's helpful. I mean, just the fact that somebody's doing something for you should make you feel better.
Abundance.
Fulfilling is probably the main top one.
They're good.
I think that we are a compassionate organization.
I think it's great. I give it thumbs up.
It keeps us independent.
Yes.
It's the easiest, most fulfilling job I've ever had.
It keeps us independent so we don't have to depend on anybody.
Independence.
Caring and steady and present, like we're present for these people, every day.
Joyful, brings a lot of peace and a lot of happiness to you at the end of the day.
Sharing.
Caring, responsible.
I think vital to the community.
3 words? I think it's great, actually. Not trying to steal from Tony the Tiger, but yeah, it's great.
It teaches you portion control.
Loving the community that they work in, trying to make the community better.
Helpfulness.
Actually, it's fun. Believe it or not, it's really fun and fulfilling to be doing this type of thing.
Patience.
It pulls at your heartstrings, it does. And it doesn't matter whether you're out en route delivering meals or you're in the office on the phone.
Reliable.
Hope. So people feel like they have hope, that they can stay in their home for as long as possible. I think all of us want to be where we're feeling most comfortable.
Hidden, because we don't advertise. You know about the program, yet you don't think about the program. I think we're out there helping people more than a lot of people even know, so I think it's a very helpful program. I think it's a much needed program that there's a lot of people in our community who just really could use a program like Meals on Wheels that maybe don't even realize that it's there for them.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Gordon. I'm here about your job opening. Hi, I'm here about the job. Hi. The word you'll hear most often during a job hunt? No. One expert says you can expect 20 rejections before you get your first maybe. So don't be down on yourself. Be sure your resume is flawless, or you'll never see the inside of an interview suite. Be punctual for interviews, but no earlier than 5 minutes. A firm handshake is important. And look the interviewer in the eye. Don't be a downer, dude. Speak in positive terms about school and your previous employers. Sit alertly during your interview and show you're human. Smile a little. And follow up every interview with a thank you letter, expressing your interest in the job and why you think you're qualified.
Packers. Viking. Packers. Viking. Viking.
Red state, blue state, vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer.
Welcome back to eWeekly. Before we wrap up the show, we have Gabrielle Reed with what's going on around campus.
Thanks, Sarah. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to another installment of Eagle Encounters. I hope you all enjoyed your week. I'm sure you're all very excited to start spring break. I know, with all this snow, that sounds weird. But before you head out of town, check out these opportunities over the weekend and even beyond. As Evan mentioned earlier, the EMU women's basketball team will go up against Ohio tonight on V-Day at the Convocation Center. Head over to support the team. Thursday evening from 6:30 to 9:30, Queer and Trans People of Color Collective will be hosting a film screening of Simon and I in the Student Center. This documentary is raised in South Africa and allows Black queer activists to confine themselves. After the screening, there will be a discussion on the film. This event is free, LBC approved, and open to the public. On Friday, there will be another Learning Day in Halley Library. If you're still around on campus by then, stop by the library anytime from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. Learn how to learn technical courses as well as develop your critical thinking skills. This event is free and worth your time. On Friday, there will be a trombone recital in the Quirk Sponberg Theater. Acclaimed trombone soloist Abby Conant will be performing at the show also. The cost is free, open to the public, and LBC approved. The evening will run from 6:30 to 9 p.m. On Saturday, the Convocation Center will welcome in country music singer Justin Moore for his Hell on the Highway tour. The event starts at 7:30 in the evening with opener Dylan Scott. Tickets are available at EMU Tix and are around $50 each. While we're on break, there will be meetings here and there, but enjoy your time off most importantly. If you want to take in a basketball game, you can head to the Convocation Center on Thursday, February 20th to watch the men go to work against Toledo. The game starts at 7 in the evening, and if you don't want to roll out of bed for that one, tune into ESPN3 to watch the game. The production is student run and they put on a great show. Thanks for tuning in to Eagle Encounters. As mentioned earlier, the weather will actually feel a little like spring during our spring break, so that's a positive. Have a nice week, Eagles. I'm Gabrielle Reed.
Thank you, Gabrielle. These first few weeks of the semester have been quite busy for all of us here, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys. I don't know about you, Sarah, but I'm ready for break.
It's going to be much needed on my end. Hopefully I get some time to myself, but work never ends.
I know one activity I'll be taking part in over break, though, watching ETV at EMU. If you follow us on social media, you can keep up with everything we're doing here. That's all from me. I'm Nina Maria Badalamenti.
And I'm Sarah Potteracki. We'll see you after the break.